it goes back really to my prostate issues. So I've had 2 scraping procedures every 5 years. I've had prostate issues since I was in my early 40s, severe prostate issues, 20 PSAs.
Wow.
And I had a number of biopsies, never had cancer, but I had these 2 scrapings under the direction of a urologist in Georgia. They were very effective, but nobody mentioned to me, at least I don't recall, that they would limit my sexual capability, but they did. And ever since that, we've really not had sex because it's been unfulfilling and embarrassing. And, I couldn't perform, let's face it. I just couldn't get an erection that was strong enough to really make it work. And of course, the more problem you have, the more problem you have, because you become scared and psychologically, even though maybe the physical capability wasn't as far gone as I thought, my mental capability was. So we didn't have sex for years, or if we did, it was once a year and very ineffective and clumsy and not worth much. So we entered into this ED kind of rehabilitation, whatever word you use, and I went through the suction thing and the various treatments here in the office, and I think they made a difference. My sexual and functionality did get better. I was able to have more of an erection, but didn't last long enough. And again, who knows whether that's still the physiological damage of the scrapings or whether it's in my head.
Right.
But it's very real.
Yes.
And so we started trying different things. There are ways to work around those things. You have to be willing to talk. You have to be willing to experiment. You have to be willing to do things that you never had done before and thought were maybe inappropriate.
Yeah.
And experiment, and we're there now. And I can't tell you what a difference this has made in our lives. We had intimacy just not last night before last, probably 45 minutes.
Wow.
Of intimacy and something we have not, that was just enormously satisfying. She had an orgasm, I had an orgasm, and we had to help each other. It doesn't work the way it's supposed to work, or the way it used to work, or whatever, because I just still can't get there. And that's somewhat disappointing to her, but nevertheless, we're having orgasms, we're having intimacy, we're having lots of wonderful touching and kissing, and it's just made a huge difference in the way each of us feel and our relationship together. Sexual intimacy is so important in a relationship. It covers all the little arguments and makes them all unimportant and helps you solve other things and puts back into your marriage the thing that gives you the closeness and the uniqueness that's only yours and yours alone. Well, we did the hormone therapy, and really all of my scores were relatively normal or high or okay. I got a couple of areas where they told me I could take some supplements, but none of those were very low. And even the testosterone score was not all that low. It was in the 400s, I think.
Yeah.
But they all said, this is an area where you could use some. I was hesitant because I knew that I had these prostate issues and there's a conflict, and I'd always kind of thought I probably shouldn't do that. But, I tried it, and I could feel an fairly immediate improvement in several areas. Of course, sexually, I think it increased my libido, it increased my desire, at least I thought it did. Of course, all these other things are going on, so you don't know exactly what did what. But, I've never been very athletic. I've always been kind of overweight, had big hips and lots of fat around my waist, and I didn't work out. I always ran or walked, but wasn't very athletic and didn't like the way I looked in the mirror. And the testosterone has affected me hugely in that respect, I think. Again, a combination of issues because I'm now working out a lot every day, an hour or two. But even that, what I'm realizing is how importantly these things are connected. Your hormones, your diet, your exercise. You can really get yourself from a place of, I'm an old man and my body's falling apart, I can hardly walk down the stairs, to a place of total feeling youthful again in a very short period of time. I mean, that can happen in 6 months. It isn't a 10-year process. I'm in the best shape of my life.
Wow.
I really am.
That's wonderful.
Best physical shape of my life.
Wow.
And to be at my age and say that's kind of sad in a way, but it's also wonderful to be here. When you even talk about these things, you have to use language that sometimes we're uncomfortable using. You have to be able to talk about hard-ons and erections and sex and ejaculate. We don't talk about that stuff.
Right.
Those are words we don't use.
Yep.
And so it has to be comfortable, or no one's going to seek help. So everyone here's been wonderful that way. You've been terrific, and
thank you.
The pharmacist has been great, and it's really been a wonderful collection of people who've helped me on this journey. Oh, I absolutely would recommend Happy Valley. I do recommend Happy Valley, and if as I have the opportunity, I absolutely would recommend you and all that you've done, and both the hormone therapy and the ED and the advice you've given me otherwise. It's been really helpful and very much appreciated.